mean, why do we have a state? Why do we have a government? Forgive me for spelling this out, it will only take a second. We have a state, we have a government, in order to protect us from dangers. What dangers? External dangers, enemies, for which we have an army, and internal dangers, criminals. People who want to kill us, steal our property, injure us. Until 1906, as I hope you realize, people could sell and buy virtually anything, both in the way of food and drugs. And those were the days of so-called patent medicines, and again, language is wonderfully revealing. A patent medicine meant that you could buy Carter's Little Liver Pills or Lady of Pinkham, whatever it was, tonic, and that's all it said on the label. So you didn't know what you were buying. And then, partly through media agitation, there was a demand, not really from the population, this was not a consumer demand, that people ought to know what's in the bottle. So there was a requirement to put on the label that it contained, which it usually contained, 20-25% alcohol and 2 or 3% cocaine or morphine, and naturally it made people feel better. The same thing with food, that there were certain regulations that the government imposed. For example, if you had a tuberculous cow, you could not sell the milk, you could not sell the meat and so on. To me, this is so obvious that this was a law to protect people from unscrupulous vendors. Okay? It fell in line with the traditional duty of the government to protect us from, and I'm using classic libertarian language here, it's nicely alliterating, from force and fraud. You and I can't use in our dealings, we can't say if you go to a drugstore and you want aspirin, they can't sell you rat poison. Ought to be labeled correctly. This is to protect me from you. There were several interesting Supreme Court decisions, one in 1911, which I discuss at length in my book, in which actually the government tried to sue a gentleman, I think named Sullivan, because he advertised one of these things, which was correctly labeled as curing everything from anemia to cancer. And the government said, but this is mislabeled. The Supreme Court held that of course it's mislabeled. Every advertising is mislabeling. Everybody promises something. After all, don't lipsticks and deodorants and everything promise that you'll get the most wonderful girl and boy if you use it. The Supreme Court held that the labeling only pertains to what is in the bottle, not what ingesting it will do to you. It's gradually metamorphosed until, by the end of the Second World War, drug laws, and now this is full-blown, are clearly, consciously, unashamedly directed to protecting you from yourself.